I remember that my legs were shaking. And in the first 15 minutes, I felt so thirsty because of that nervousness. And when I reached out to my water, it actually got spilled over. The people in the front, they can literally see that, there is a possibility that this guy may fall, from stage any moment. So they had this look on them that if you do fall, my friend, don't fall on us, okay? Because it looks like you are shaky at the moment. So how does one deals with anxiety in the beginning of their speaking career, right? Cool. I think the way I would like to look at this question about anxiousness or anxiety, or nervousness in the beginning of your journey as a speaker is to accept the fact that it is going to be there, because I remember doing my first Tony Robbins, UPW preview, Unleash the Power Within preview, where I was chosen last minute. In the last minute, the main lead trainer had to go somewhere because of some major changes to keep the story short. And I had 3-4 hours, as a notice to say, that you are going up on stage now and representing Tony for this preview workshop. So I had a very little time to prepare. I remember that my legs were shaking. And in the first 15 minutes, I felt so thirsty because of that nervousness. And when I reached out to my water, it actually got spilled over. The people in the front, they can literally see that, there is a possibility that this guy may fall, from stage any moment. So they had this look on them that if you do fall, my friend, don't fall on us, okay? Because it looks like you are shaky at the moment, because we can see your legs are shaking. People may not, the behind may be able to make it, but people in the beginning and in the front, they could literally see that. So coming back, if anybody here, you're listening and you are in that beginning of your journey, I think, you got to be okay to accept the fact that there will be, nervousness, there will be, some anxiety in you in the beginning of your speaking journey. So that's where I would begin. And there are a few things, which you can do to actually reduce or minimize that anxiousness or nervousness you have inside you. The first I can think about is the preparation. Depends on the level of preparation you have done. In the beginning, you need to do a lot of, these preparations. You have to go through that workshop in your mind or in the way, you do it, probably it's a mirror thing you do, or you just, go through it entirely. I recommend, going through that workshop entirely, in some or the other way. I realized, that going to the beginning and then again coming back and then going back, it doesn't help. I think doing the entire loop helps us, to build that kind of neuroassociation path in your brain where you become very much confident about that, talk you're going to do. Probably an hour or a full day, doesn't matter. So coming back, I would say minimum 10 times, roughly around that numbers is the level of preparation you need to do. And again, if you haven't got a structure for your speaking, then you will be struggling on stage. If you have a structure, you have got quite a number of slides to help you to go through those, trigger points as to what you will elaborate on from stage. It definitely helps you to minimize or brings down that anxiety or that nervousness you have. I believe you will have a lot of nervousness inside you on stage without much preparation been done. If you have done a lot of preparation, I think a part of your brain, you will be at ease, and that will show up, in the way the audience will receive, perceive, and conceive you while you're speaking on stage. So first, I would say accept the fact that you are a human, you're learning, you're on that journey. Nervousness and anxiety is a part of, speaking. And secondly, if you prepare really well and you put in, all the efforts to go through that training, that speaking, that, keynote or whatever that you're doing as a presentation, quite a few number of times, your part of the brain will be at ease. And the third, I would say, which I have already mentioned in some capacity, is taking help, which means, the slides are there. In the beginning, I believe you may have a lot number of slides to do, let's say 2 hours of webinar, but those slides will minimize as you become much more well-versed with the topic you are in. I think, when I started doing my presentations for 3 hours for Tony, I had 200 plus slides, in the beginning of my speaking career. But as I kept speaking, I became so much familiar with the entire presentation that after maybe 100 workshops or so for Tony, I came to a point that I may not need any slides at all. I may have a few pointers written on a paper, like 10 to 12, and I can enlarge those 10, 12 pointers into a 3 hours workshop. So yeah, in the beginning, you may have a few hundred slides. Later on, it'll minimize to maybe 100, 150 or 50, depending on, what kind of presentation you're planning to do. So that's where I am, when it comes to dealing with your nervousness or anxiety from stage.